Well, hello, welcome to the Go Live with Confidence show from Restream. Great to see you here. I'm Ian Anderson Gray, and in this show, I'm just looking for here we go, looking for this little button thing here. Welcome. This is episode 13. I can't believe we're on 13 already. I had a bit of a break last week. I needed just a little bit of time to recharge the batteries, which I think we all need from time to time. And in today's show, I'd love to know from you whether you would identify as a procrastinator. Do you struggle with procrastination? But I'm going to share with you why I think live video is the perfect medium for procrastinators like you and like myself. I like to call myself a recovering procrastinator. So if there's hope for me, there's hope for you too. So I'm really excited to talk about that. But I'd love to know if you're watching live, let me know where in the world you are watching from. Let's have a look and see who we've got watching today. Well, we've got Savvy Turtle is here and just here to support Restream. Great to see you. I'm not even down for my topic, but here for support for Restream. Awesome to see you. And we've got the amazing Melissa Knoll is here as well, saying hi and good afternoon. It might be good morning for you if you're watching, but good afternoon, good evening. And we've also got the fabulous Mark, who is saying, I'm not stalking you today, Ian, honest. Mark was very kind enough to join me this morning UK time for another show that I do. And we're talking about strategy, live video strategy. So that is awesome. And Savvy Turtle is from Mississippi in the USA. Awesome. Well, if you've just joined, this is the Go Live with Confidence show. Every week we talk about how you can optimize your mindset so that you can go live with confidence, because we can get so excited by the technology. And obviously technology is important. Using the right tools, using the right gear and things like that are important. But you also need to have a good strategy, and you also need to do some mindset work. As I mentioned on the show before, in many ways, I would call myself a recovering reluctant. I'll admit this. I used to be a reluctant live video guy. It took a lot of effort for me to actually go live. I was really scared about it. But over the years, I've done a lot of mindset work. I've got over those nerves. They're still there, but I use those nerves as a way to channel my energy into the live shows that I do. So if you are struggling with some kind of mindset issue, it could be procrastination, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, then these are the kind of things that we talk about on this show. So keep those comments coming. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. But I think it's time to get on with the main show. So what we always do is we have this little live section, and then we get on with the section that will kind of snip off for the pre-recorded, for the replay audience in the future. So we'll be with you just after this. Hello, my name's Ian Anderson Gray, and in this episode of the Go Live with Confidence show, I'm sharing why I think live video is the perfect medium for procrastinators. Tell me, are you a procrastinator? Do you ever procrastinate? I'm sure I'm not the only one. Let's get on with the show.
Want to boost your confidence in front of the camera so you can live stream more effectively and communicate with your audience? Get ready for the Go Live with Confidence show. Increase your confidence, improve your communication, and optimize your mindset so you can go live with confidence. This show is powered by Restream. And here's your host, Ian Anderson Gray.
Well, hello, welcome to episode 13 of the Go Live with Confidence show. This show is powered by Restream and Restream Studio. That's what I'm using today as always. And we're broadcasting on the Restream channels, also my channels as well. So let me know where you're watching from and what your thoughts are on today's topic, which is procrastination. Oh my goodness, procrastination is a big deal for so many of us. But could live video be the perfect antidote to overcoming perfectionism? That's what we're going to be discussing today. So this show goes live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. in the UK. That's 12 noon Eastern time, which I think is 9 a.m. Pacific, if my brain is working today. And of course, we broadcast to a plethora of different destinations using the power of Restream. And just a little bit about Restream, if you haven't come across Restream before, where is the button? Here we go. So if you go to iag.me/Restream, you'll actually get a free month to take it for a test drive and to play with all those features, because it is really, really cool. You can bring in up to 9 guests onto your show. You can highlight comments on the screen, which is what I've been doing. Put titles on the screen as well. And there's some really cool new stuff that's coming. There's now a feature called, this is a bit geeky, okay, so sorry about this, but it is really cool. A feature called RTMP Pull. What on earth does that mean? Well, RTMP is basically just it's the connection that we use to live stream with. Now, if you use a tool like Restream Studio, you don't even know it's there. It just kind of does it in the background. But what Restream does is it sends a signal to Facebook Live or LinkedIn Live or YouTube Live. That connection is RTMP. It's short for, Real-Time Messaging Protocol, if you really want to know the title. So what you can now do in Restream Studio is you can accept a stream from somewhere else. So you might be using a tool like OBS Studio, something like that, and maybe you've got an events team and they're recording, or they're taking the stream of the service that you're doing or an event or whatever it is. You can then tell them to send that stream to Restream Studio, and then you can add your graphics, you can add comments, and you can multi-stream to all those different destinations. So that's a really cool feature. And there's so many other cool features that are coming, which I will share about you in future weeks. So go to iag.me/Restream. And also, just want to let you know, I've got an amazing gear guide at iag.me/gear guide. I know we're not talking about gear today, but this is where you can find out what microphones I use, what tools and cameras and lighting and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that, just go to iag.me/gear guide. Okay, let's look at the chat, and then we're going to dive into procrastination. I need a kind of like reverb effect for this. So anyway, there we go. So I think Melissa identifies with that. And we've got Moya here is here. So great to see you. Hello again from just over the Pennines in the UK in Leeds. We've got Bulligo watching from the beautiful Uganda. I've never been to Uganda. One day I would love to go. Mark is being very open and honest. Thank you for this, Mark, because I know I'm not the only one. Yeah, all of those things you mentioned, imposter syndrome, perfectionism, etc. I think it's kind of why we do what we do. Now this is great. I love this from Weir, who says, I've got better at not procrastinating, but I still do it from time to time, especially if I put a task off for a bit. It's so easy to keep putting it off. And I kind of think some people have more of an issue with procrastination than others. And I'm going to be talking about that in today's show. But yeah, let me know how procrastination manifests itself in your life. I'd love to know about that. Well, what is procrastination? What is it? It's really about something important. It's usually something important that you've got coming up that you just put off. You say, I'll do it tomorrow. And of course, as we all know, tomorrow never comes. And this is a big issue, I think, when it comes to creating content. Creating content is hard work, particularly creating valuable content that's going to make a big difference. And I want to share with you the procrastination that I've had over the years. Blogging has changed my life. There's no question about it. When I launched my blog back in 2011, one of the first blogs I ever wrote went completely viral. And it kind of launched my career without me even knowing about it. But the problem was that took a huge amount of effort. At the time, I didn't really think about it. Got really hyper-focused and I did it. But some of the blog posts that I created after that just took weeks and weeks and weeks of work. So much effort that I ended up getting into this procrastination cycle. So it's usually something that is important, that's hard work that you're putting off because your brain it doesn't really want you to do hard work. It's trying to save you from that. And a little bit more about that in a bit. So usually what we tend to do is we leave the big thing that's coming up and we work on all the little tiny things, which is a lot easier. And that's really what procrastination is. We'll work on we'll look at something else. We might just go onto Facebook, or we might watch Netflix or something. And often in our minds, we come up with a really good excuse. Oh, well, I need to check Facebook because I might have a really important message. Oh, I need a break. I need to watch Netflix, and I just need to have a bit of a downtime now. And some of those things are true. Sometimes we do need to have a break. Sometimes we do need to check Facebook. But if we've got this big looming thing in front of us, then is working on those other things a good idea, or should we just get on with the task? So that's what I think procrastination is. I'd love to know from you what you feel procrastination is in your life. Challenge ITV is here. Great to see. How are things in Vietnam? Back after a long break. Yeah, I had a week off. It feels longer. I've gone without going live to my live show for a couple of weeks, and it's been 1 week for this show, but I definitely feel I needed that. And we've got the fabulous Martin Buckland watching from Toronto. If you want it to happen, don't sit around, make it happen. Absolutely, really true. But sometimes there are issues with procrastination. Now, I want to first of all put a thought forwards. Really, is procrastination always a bad thing? Is it always a bad thing? You know, as Martin was saying, if you want to make it happen, make it happen. And that's really, really true. But sometimes going down a rabbit hole isn't always a bad thing. In fact, I would say that the reason I'm standing here before you now is because of a bit of procrastination on my part. When Facebook Live came about in 2016, I should say, I saw it. I thought, oh, wow. It was like squirrel. Oh, my goodness, something really exciting. So I stopped everything that I was doing. I think I had a blog post that I should have been writing, and I wanted to play with this new exciting thing. And I discovered OBS Studio, and I discovered how to do it. And I really love to kind of solve problems. So I found out how to broadcast to Facebook Live and make it really, really easy. And I ended up writing a blog post on it. And I'm so glad that I did that, because that changed everything for me. Going down that rabbit hole changed everything, because that blog post went viral. It had over 6.5 million page views. I started being asked to speak around the world on the subject of live video. Ended up speaking at Social Media Marketing World on that. And I started to be seen as an influencer and an expert in the world of live video, all because I went down that rabbit hole. The question is that actually procrastination? I don't know. I'm not sure it necessarily is, and I'd love to know from you. The thing is, I think we need in our schedule, we need to have that R&D time, that research and development time, to play with other things, to allow ourselves to go down rabbit holes and play with new and exciting things. The question is that are you trying to avoid something else that's really, really important that you should be working on? In my case, possibly, but I'm so glad that I went down that rabbit hole. It was so important. And there's a really interesting podcast episode by my good friend Cliff Ravenscraft. I'll just put it on the screen there. And he basically is he's kind of asking the question, is procrastination a good thing? And he actually says, let me just share this on the screen here, actually. He's actually talking about procrastination as a gift. I'm not sure I'd go that far. I think procrastination for me is definitely, on most cases, a bit of a curse. But he talks about it actually sometimes it's a way of making you understand that something that you're working on is really not something that you enjoy doing. And maybe it isn't something that you should be focusing on, because it doesn't bring you joy, and there are other things out there that you should maybe be focusing on. Now, I agree with Cliff to a point there. I think there's definitely some truth. There is truth in that sometimes it can, for me, I think it made me realize that although I'm really good at blogging, it takes so much time and effort out of me that I needed to find another way of doing it. And a little bit more about that in a minute when it comes to live video. But it's an interesting point, and I'd love to hear from you. You know, can procrastination actually be a gift? Let me know what you think about that. So yeah, procrastination is actually how I got into live video. It's how I learnt how to use live video and to just play with something new and exciting. And it's why I'm here with you today, because of that kind of procrastination. Let's look at some more comments. So Martin is lots of words of wisdom here. Don't procrastinate, just wait. So would you like to expand on that? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. And Challenge ITV, don't procrastinate, a deserved break. Oh my goodness, that is so true. We all need those breaks. Now this looks really deep. Yes. So Challenge ITV says this, and I would love to know if you're watching this live or the replay, do you agree with this? I think I do. Procrastination is also revealing a fear of failing or the unknown. Really, really true. That's quite deep, but I think that's true. I think sometimes we're worried about failure. We're also worried about that hard work. How much is it going to cost? And we're not thinking about the end product. When it came to live video, the thing that I always recommend that people do is to do that planning, doing that hard work at the start. Know why you're going live. I'm standing here before you knowing why I'm going live. One of the things I'm wanting to do in 2021 is to grow and build my community. And I want to also be visible. And I work with Restream. So obviously I'm turning up today because I want to deliver some amazing content for the Restream channels. So that's really important. But in the past, I've had this fear of failure or the unknown. And I think that is a really important point. Thank you so much for that. And also just going on here, saying when we overload ourselves, there's a high chance of procrastination. Be realistic on what we are able to do. Sometimes lower down our expectations is the solution. And I would agree with you. Again, this is why strategy is so important. And you need to build into that time for, to take time off. For me, I just know that I need to have that time off. Otherwise, I get burnt out very, very easily. And at the end of the day, that's not good for me, but it's also not good for my family. And it's certainly not good for my audience because they're going to get a bit of a raw deal. They're not going to get the best version of me. And so it's in everyone's best interests to make sure that you pace yourself. And we're all different. So while someone might be okay without taking any breaks for a long time, you might not be. And so I think you need to be really careful of that. Melissa's saying failure is, I assume, an issue for you, that fear of failure. And I think sometimes we can build it up in our minds. We can think, oh my goodness, if I were to go live and it went wrong, that would be the end of the world. Now, this morning, I had an issue with my guest came on. It was going really, really well. And unfortunately, he had some internet problems and he dropped out. And so I was just on my own. I had to kind of improvise. Thankfully, I had some things to say and I was okay. And it was actually, he did end up coming back in and it was absolutely fine. But if that had happened 5 or 6 years ago, I would have probably seen that as a failure. Today, I actually thought the live show went really, really well. It was obviously unfortunate that my guest kind of got kicked out because of his internet, but it was still a really, really good show. So I think, it's those mindset issues are so impossible. We've got somebody watching on a Facebook group. I can't see who you are, but saying so good. Yes, let's get visible. And this is a slight kind of deviation to what we're talking about, but getting visible is sometimes an issue for people. It was an issue for me. I was just a bit scared of being visible. I wanted to hide away. As I said before, live video, I was a bit of a reluctant live video guy. But actually being visible is so important. It's important. I want to turn up to deliver really good value for you. And so it's important that I am visible. And if you struggle with that, you've got to stop thinking about yourself, think about your audience and delivering value to them. Really, really important. Okay, cool. Just another couple of comments. And Mark is saying, As a video editor, my own content never gets published as I faff about with it too much. I'm laughing because I totally understand. Hence, starting my new live show, No Editing to Procrastinate On. Oh, yes. Yeah, and then we're going to talk about that in a minute. So, yeah, it's so often the case, when we, it's like website designers usually, not usually, but sometimes can have very bad websites because they're working on their clients all the time. So yeah, not good. Oh, it's Sean watching. Awesome to see you, Sean. Hope you're doing really well. And we've got Owen Video is here. Great to see you, Owen. Hope you're doing well. It was great to see you earlier. And do check out Owen's show on the Restream. I forget when it is. Is it on a Monday? Maybe it's not on a Monday. Anyway, remind me, Owen, I should know what day of the week. But there are loads of live shows on the Restream channels, and Owen does an amazing job with his. It's great. Definitely check it out. Yomi is watching from Nigeria. Great to see you. And yeah, awesome to see you guys. So anyway, let's talk a little bit more. Oh, what's going on there? Yeah, okay, that is true. Who says that? Yes. It can be scary to get visible and think of others watching you. And actually, I think that definitely gets easier over time. That, this is why turning up every week, if you can do it more often than every week, is so, so important, because that frequency, that consistency helps with those nerves, and it helps you channel those nerves into the energy in front of the camera. And it also gets over that procrastination and that perfectionism. So definitely do that. Also, oh yeah, thank you, Owen. Mondays, I thought it was Monday. So Mondays, 12 noon Pacific. So that is, I think, 8 p.m. in the UK. And I'm not going to try and translate for other time zones. Sorry. My brain doesn't work that way. Okay, let's talk about the next thing. So, yeah, I just wanted, this is a slightly kind of odd topic, the next one. But I do want to cover this. Procrastination and ADHD. Now, I've been looking a lot into ADHD recently. Now, not everyone has ADHD. I think a lot of people in the entrepreneurial space, in the marketing space, either have ADHD or they have ADHD-like symptoms. And I've been looking into this because I'm pretty sure I might well be ADHD. I don't have any of the hyperactive part of it, but I do get distracted, and there's loads and loads of things that we could talk about when it comes to ADHD. But there are some things that if you do suffer from ADHD that you've just got to be aware of. And by the way, of course, I'm not an expert here. If you are wanting to get some advice on this, you do need to see your doctor or get some help. But there's some thoughts on this, in that, ADHD, when it comes to all aspects of our life, but particularly when it comes to creating content, I think, we can have that lack of confidence. We can have low self-esteem. We can suffer from depression and anxiety, and there can even be self-loathing there, because you're trying to create this content, you're trying to go live, you're trying to do this, but you just can't. You keep procrastinating. And this form of procrastinating is actually very serious. This is not something that you can't just force yourself to do it. There are you probably need to seek some help here and get some help. So if you feel that you have know you have ADHD, or you have some symptoms here, don't be so hard on yourself when it comes to procrastination, because it is actually, it is a condition, and it is something that you'll find difficult to do. It's certainly something, I'm not diagnosed ADHD or anything, but I'm pretty sure I have ADHD tendencies, and it's something that I think I struggle with a lot. And I've definitely struggled with self-confidence, lack of it, and self-esteem, even self-loathing sometimes when I've just wanted to do something and not been able to do it. So please don't be hard on yourself. That's really important. But I do want to come on to something that I found really helpful. There's actually a TED talk on this, and it's about personifying, if that's the right word, procrastination. And it's about the procrastination monkey and the instant gratification monkey. And there's a whole TED talk on this, which I definitely recommend. But it's a guy called Tim Urban, and he talks about this in great detail. It's really, really good. So I'm just going to share the blog post. It's waitbutwhy.com. And If you go, it's actually was written in 2013. waitbutwhy.com/2013/10/y-procrastinators- procrastinate.html. I really should have created a short URL for that. But anyway, so procrastination. So how it manifests itself. Well, first of all, if you aren't a procrastinator, you just make those rational decisions. So you've got a live video coming up, you've got a blog post coming up that you need to do. You just do it. You're a rational decision maker. And so I love this little cartoon here. I do things that make sense. I think long term. I am not a child. So if you're like that, that's awesome. Okay, I'm not like that. And I think a lot of us aren't. So, and a procrastinator's brain looks slightly different. So you think you are this rational decision maker and you say, I have the same purpose as the guy in the above drawing. We are the same. But there's a subtle difference. There is the instant gratification monkey at the side. Anyone can identify with this. It could be Facebook. It could be something new and shiny and exciting. So it's really, really different because, you know, you think in your head, and this has been my case, this is the perfect time to get some work done. Could be a blog post. It could be a live video. But the instant gratification monkey is going, no, it isn't. I've got something more exciting. In fact, it says in this case, let's watch a bunch of YouTube videos on creatures on the deep sea and then go onto a YouTube spiral that takes us through Ritual Feynman talking about string theory and ends up us watching interviews about Justin Bieber's mom. Okay, anyone else done that? You start getting a little bit sidetracked and then you go down a rabbit hole and it goes like way off topic and you don't do what you want to do. And so it just ends up being completely ballistic. And so, yes, I think the procrastination monkey is a big, big deal for so many of us. Now, what a lot of us then try and implement is something called the panic monster. And the panic monster is something that we manifest when we got this gratification monkey at our sides. It forces us to get on with stuff. So we've put a deadline in place, or there is a deadline that is like, you've got to get this done in the next hour. And the panic monster is often a really bad thing to do, but we manifest the panic monster to try and force us to do what we want to do or what we need to do. So the panic monster is something that I think we can change when it comes to live video. What I want to say is that live video is the perfect antidote when it comes to content to recovering perfectionists and procrastinators. Why do you think I mean that? Why is that the case? Let's come back to some comments and let's have a look. So I can't possibly comment on this. Maria's saying Owen's show is almost as awesome as this one. I think Owen's show is amazing. Martin says I plead guilty with ADHD, and yes, I'm sure I'm not alone. Procrastination could be a sign of burnout. Yeah, I would agree. And, well, we've also got David Media's here. Wow, yes. Thank you, David. You were all asking some awesome questions earlier on my live show edit. Why are you on twice in a day? I'm new, and this is quite a treat. Awesome to see you, David. Yeah, I often on the Tuesday, I go live twice in a day. I find, actually, twice in a day is a lot for me. I need to pace myself, and I find live videos actually quite tiring to do. But I love doing them as well. Challenge ITV says, recommendations for procrastinators: do small steps and reward yourself along the way. Really important. Reward yourself. I think we can be so hard on ourselves sometimes, can't we? What else? Yes, Maria says, yep, it's like, okay, I'm going to research for this project. Then I see a video or an article and go, oh, what's that? And then my day is gone. Oh, yes. I think I'm in good company. I think we all struggle from this. So let's talk about why I think live video is the perfect antidote for people like us who procrastinate or are perfectionists. Well, the first thing is, when you go live, yes, you've got that barrier sometimes to going live, but once you do go live, you're live. It's not going to be perfect. I've made mistakes along the way today. I've stumbled over words. I've forgotten some words. I don't know, probably made other mistakes along the way. is my setup perfect? No, it isn't. But I'm going live. I'm creating content. And the more you do it, the better it becomes. And the more you build your audience. And so it is an amazing way to create that content. Now, if you just left it there, it wouldn't be the perfect medium for creating content. But as I've talked about before, from your live shows, you can then repurpose that into other content. So to give you an idea, what I do in my live show, I go live twice per week on my Confident Live Marketing show. That turns into a podcast. It turns into a blog post. It turns into lots of video snippets and babies and all that kind of stuff. I also go live. I multi-stream to all those different channels as well. So I'm creating so much content from this one piece of content that I'm creating. And so this is one of the things that I love about it. In fact, I call this creating a consistent content repurposing machine from your live videos. So although there is going to be some procrastination there might be some resistance, once you're going live, you're able to do so much. And it also allows your brain to say you can actually have a conversation with yourself and say, okay, brain, look, this is worth doing because first of all, I'm going to be visible. I'm going to be turning up in front of my audience. I'm going to be able to create this consistent content every single week. I'm going to be able to turn it into a podcast, into a blog post. Wow, this is amazing. I need to do it. And so, and once you've set everything up, it's actually quite easy. If you use a tool like Restream Studio, it's so easy to go live. You just click the button. Okay, you need to do some preparation, you need to plan, but it is a lot easier potentially than creating other forms of content out there. And this is one of the reasons why I love live video. It is so easy to create that consistent content and be able to repurpose it into other channels. So I do feel it is that a perfect medium for recovering perfectionists and procrastinators. Now, one thing I think is really important when it comes to this is I think it is important that you schedule your live shows. And this is for a number of reasons. So this is one thing that you can do in Restream Studio. You go to events and you can schedule in advance. Facebook allows you to schedule up to a week in advance. YouTube actually is more than that. But for most of us, we want to schedule up to a week in advance. We can schedule to Facebook Live, either your page, your profile, your group, or both, or all three, or whatever. The other thing you can also go live to. You can schedule, to YouTube, and you can also schedule to LinkedIn Live if the LinkedIn gods have blessed you with access. So you can schedule all those and to all those channels, and you will be given the URL to all of those places that you go live to that you've set your schedule to. You can just grab them from Restream Studio. So that is good for two reasons. The first thing is it's really amazing for pre-promotion. So you can promote it to your email list, you can promote it on social media, and you can send a link out so that people will be able to click on that and then see your live show when you go live. A bit of a hack here, if you use a tool like SendTrick, that's SendTric.com. It's a little countdown timer thing that you can embed in your emails. So if it actually will go down, and if you set it to when you go live, then your emails just give you that a little bit more excitement because they can see when you're about to go live. So you then put that link to your YouTube channel, your Facebook, or your LinkedIn Live, and that is going to be great from that point of view. But it's also really good for you, the procrastinator, because it means that you are committed to go live because you have scheduled it. You have let the world know that you are going live next Tuesday at 2 p.m. You are going to be live there. And so your brain just knows that it's going to happen, and you're committed to it and you're going to do it. And you've told your audience as well. So I think scheduling means that you have to do it in advance. And it also allows you to spend more time planning what you're going to say, because obviously if you're scheduling it, you're going to have to come up with a title, a description, and a thumbnail for that as well. So for all of my live shows, pretty much all of them, I will schedule them in advance, and that just gets rid of that procrastination as well. The other thing that I think is a really good thing is it is more difficult to do a solo show like I'm doing today. There's more effort that goes into it. I have to know what I'm saying. I have to plan in advance. Where if I have a guest, it's yes, there is still a few technical things you need to think about, of course, and you have to invite your guest. You need to make sure that they're going to turn up, and from a tech point of view, there's a little bit more that's going on. Having said that, with Restream Studio, it's simple as just giving them a link, and they will just pop into the studio. It's so simple. So, but if you have a guest, then not only do you have to turn up for yourself, not only do you have to turn up for your audience, but you have to turn up because your guest is going to be there as well. And this is why I think for me, having a personal trainer has been absolutely vital in me getting fit. Because it used to be that going to the gym, I would love the idea of going to the gym. I saw it as beneficial, but I wouldn't be able to get out the door. Whereas now I know that my personal trainer is going to be there. I have to go. So actually over the last year, it's all been on Zoom, but I'm actually going on Thursday to the gym for the first time with my personal trainer. And I know that it's happening because he has set the time I'm going to be there. In the same way, when you schedule your live shows, you have to be there. And if you have a guest, you have to be there for your guest as well. So I do think scheduling and having guests is great as well. So I'd love to know what you think about that as well. Okay, let's go back to some of the comments here. So let's have a look. So Melissa is saying, so this is ADHD, attention deficit disorder to me. So ADD. So yeah, there's, so I'm not an expert on this, but there used to be a distinction between ADD and ADHD. And I think now it's all called ADHD, but in a way that's not that helpful, because I think some people, there are actually 3 types of ADHD, which I've been researching, you can tell. So there's hyperactive type. So this is where you are, physically and, probably mentally as well. You're having to move around a lot. So there's hyperactive tendencies there. And then there's the inattentive type, which I think is something that I probably struggle with, which is you get distracted and there's procrastination and all that kind of stuff. But you don't have so many issues with hyperactivity, which I definitely don't have. I did as a kid, but not now. And then there's combined type, which a lot of people have, which is a combination of the two. So yeah, I mean, it was just a passing thing, and I found it interesting. Challenge ITV says, I recommend to watch previous Ian's live streams when he talks about repurposing. Thank you. Yeah, I did a whole episode. So this might be, I'm not sure whether I did it in this particular series on confidence, but if you go back and you have a look at the show that I did called Go Live with Restream, we definitely did that. And you also, my Confident Live marketing show as well, which you can check out. That will give a good framework for creating content from your live. Absolutely. And I will cover this again in the future. I'll be doing this. And if you're interested in this, let me know and we can talk about it. Yeah, and definitely Restream is the best to schedule. It's just so easy. I use it pretty much for all of my live shows. Whether I use Restream Studio or I'll use Ecamm Live, I always go to Restream Studio to set up the schedule, the event in the future. It's so easy to do. And although you can only schedule to Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, if you also are streaming to other places like Twitch, and oh my goodness, there's so many, there's over 30 different destinations. Although you can't technically schedule to those, you will still go live at that time. So 2 p.m. next Tuesday. You don't get the link in advance, but you will be able to go live at that time to those channels as well. So I hope that helps. Awesome. Right. Well, I think, to be honest, that is pretty much all the stuff that I wanted to talk about today. Just to re-go over that, really. First of all, we covered what procrastination is, which is avoiding something important that you should be dealing with by going down a rabbit hole. I gave a link to my friend Cliff Ravenscraft's podcast, which is talking about, really, is procrastination a good thing? And sometimes I think it can be a gift. It can be allowing you to go down a rabbit hole and play with something new and exciting. I also shared why live video actually for me why procrastination got me into live video in the first place, because I went down a rabbit hole. Then we talked about procrastination ADHD. So if you have ADHD, sometimes procrastination can be a real big issue for you. And we tend to beat ourselves up and have lower self-esteem and all that kind of stuff. So if that's you, be kind to yourself. So many of us are not kind to ourselves. So there are ways that you can improve and get help on that. And then I shared about the procrastination monkey and the instant gratification monkey and the panic monster. So yeah, I think that's a really good way of looking at procrastination. And then I covered really why I think a live video is the perfect antidote to recovering procrastinators like ourselves, because it's like a really great way of creating content quickly and easily. But I think it's important to think about scheduling it and also bringing in guests. So it makes it a lot easier for you to do that. And also important to realize that one of the great things about all of this is that you can create all this amazing content. You can repurpose your live shows into lots of other types of content, whether that's by multi-streaming to all those different channels, like using Restream, or it could be, for example, turning it into IGTV videos or into a podcast or a blog post and all those kind of things. So let me know if you've got any final questions just before we finish. I will be live next Tuesday at the same time. And of course, do check out all the other Restream shows. There's a show literally every day. In fact, there are usually more than one every day. And I'm going to be showing some exciting things next week when it comes to Restream. And also, we've got some quite cool guests coming up as well. So Challenge ITV, thank you so much for all your thoughts and your comments. It's been great to hear from you saying amazing live stream. Thanks, Ian. My pleasure. Melissa's also here saying thank you for today's show. It's a pleasure. Been really great to see you today, Melissa. Hope you're doing well. Well, I think that's it for today. Just a reminder to check out Restream. You can go to iag.me/Restream. I'll just put that on here. iag.me/Restream. Do check that out because it's an amazing way to go live through your browser. And also you can use it with lots of other tools as well. So definitely check that out. And Maria also says, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I always love your comments, and it's been great to see you. It's great to be back, actually. It really is. It's nice to have a break, but nice to be back. So I think that's it for today, but I do want to leave you with this. I want to encourage you really to increase your confidence, improve your communication, and of course, optimize your mindset. Do keep the comments coming and do keep in touch, and I will see you next week. I want you to be able to go live with confidence. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for watching the Go Live with Confidence show with Ian Anderson Gray, helping you get over the fear, improve your communication, and optimize your mindset so that you can go live with confidence. Check out Restream and take it for a test drive at iag.me/Restream. And until next time, toodaloo.